If you run a small business or a startup, that means you are a marketer, you are the copywriter, and the person who updates the website at 11 p.m. because nobody else will. Last quarter, I spent 3 days, 3 actual working days, writing a product descriptions, updating ad copy, and putting together one proposal deck. 3 days on stuff that doesn't move the needle. It just has to exist. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking I should be talking to customers, building something, not just formatting slides. Here's what has changed. I didn't find any new writing assistance or a tool that splits out a copy. You have to rewrite it anyway. Something that actually takes the whole task off your plate, start to finish, while you get back to the work only you can do. That's Claude Cowork. Hi there, I'm Rakul. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you 6 real workflows I built with it and the actual outputs they produced. A client proposal deck built from a single call transcript, a full product launch asset such as ad creatives, descriptions, campaign boards generated while I wasn't even at my desk. 2 years of messy customer data turned into a strategy dashboard I still use every week. A competitor's website audit that found the one gap a $2 million brand that hasn't solved, and the system packages all of it so that it runs itself on command every time. I'll walk you through exactly how each one works so you can do the same thing for your business. Let's get started. Quick thing before we get into demos. Because there are a few versions of Claude, let me explain what Claude Cowork is. You probably use Claude Chat. You type something, it responds, you copy the output and paste it somewhere. It's great for ideas, but you're still the one doing the work of moving things around. Cowork is different in one important way. It connects directly to the folders. So instead of uploading a file, waiting for a response, copying the output and pasting that into a doc, you can just point Claude Cowork into a folder, write one prompt, and then the finished file appears. Ready, saved, and done. Think of it like the difference between asking someone for advice and actually hiring someone. Claude Chat gives you advice, Claude Cowork does the job for you. There is also Claude Code that is mainly for the developers building actual software. Here's one thing that you need to remember going in. Chat is for thinking, Cowork is for doing. And for a small business owner or an operator who's wearing 7 hats, and that second one is the one that changes your week. Let's start with something every small business owner dreads, the proposal. You get off a discovery call, you have notes, and you know what the client needs. But now you have to turn all of that into something that looks professional, tell a clear story, and actually win the job. That used to take me like half a day minimum, from call notes to finish deck. 4-5 hours if I wanted it to look more good. Here's what it looks like now. For this demo, I'm using a fictional skincare brand called Bloom and Root, but the process is exactly the same with my real client. I take my call notes, could be a voice memo transcript, a rough doc, a few bullet points, and drop them into a folder on my desktop. That's it. That's the only setup. Here you can see the discovery call notes folder. Then in Cowork, I set the folder as the working folder, and the prompt is just one sentence. Use the latest call transcript in the folder and create a strategy deck. That's it. And I hit let's go. And now watch what happens. Claude builds a plan for itself. It starts by reading relevant skill files. In this case, it's the PowerPoint skill that it needs and checking what's in the folder. Then you can see the progress tracker here, where in the step 1 it builds pitch deck script. The step 2 is generate the actual PowerPoint slide and so on. Then you can also see the resources that it's using, which is the discovery call folder that I had placed in the location. Okay, so now I've got the pitch deck built from a discovery call with Sarah. The deck uses a forest and sage color palette to match with the natural skincare brand. It covers the client core challenges, current metrics, insights that her transparency stories bury, a full pillar strategy in a 90-day phase roadmap, projected impact, and also the closing slide with pricing. Now, is this the final version that I would send to my client? Quite not, but I would still review it, tighten a few things, and maybe adjust a slide or two. But it's very strong starting point. It used the brand color palette, it structured the story from the call, it built the roadmap and the numbers. If it were a real engagement, you would be ready to send with light edits. What used to take me half a day is now just 20 minutes to review and send. For a solo operator or a small team, it's definitely a game changer and it will save you a lot of time. The question here is whether it costs you half a day or just 20 minutes. That's it. Okay, so this one is for anyone who is ever had to launch something without a team behind it. New product, new service. You need ad images in multiple formats, product descriptions, updated website copy, and some kind of tracking sheet so you don't lose your mind midway. Normally, that's a week of work, or you're paying for a freelancer, or you're staying up until 2 a.m. doing it yourself. Here's how I ran my last launch with Cowork. I set up a project folder. Here it's called the product launch with everything Cowork needs to get started. Inside you have got three things: Figma prompting guide that defines brand identity, colors, typography, and voice, a product catalog spreadsheet with every product details, and a folder of raw product photos. These are standard product shots, nothing fancy, but they are what Cowork will use to generate. Now the spreadsheet, this is the command center. It has got a config sheet with file paths and brand info, and then the product catalog itself. Every product listed with its name, target audience, key messages, ingredient, format, pricing point, and a reference to its raw photo. You can see that it's structured so Cowork knows exactly what to make, who is it for, and where to put it. And this is the prompting guide, is a design playbook which has got the brand name, tagline, color palette, for example, forest green for headlines, sage for accents, and petal cream for backgrounds. This is what keeps everything on brand without a designer in the room. Now I open Cowork, point it at the product launch folder, and give it one prompt. But inside that prompt, there are three tasks. Task 1, take each product's raw photo, read the brand guide, and generate 3 creative variations per product. Task 2, absorb the brand voice from prompting guide, then write product descriptions and taglines for every product. Task 3, after the creatives and copy are done, assemble campaign boards in Figma, such as hero banners, Instagram stories, email headers, one board per product line. And here is the part that changes how you think about it. Those tasks run in parallel, separate agents working simultaneously while I was doing something else entirely. You can see it thinking through the project, reading the design guide, locating the project catalog, pulling the raw photo. And now it's generating. All of it is showing up in the progress panel. When I come back, a full campaign boards assemble. Hero banner, 3 ad creative variations, Instagram story mockup, email banner, all following the brand's color palette. Here's one of the finished ad creatives, clean, on brand, and ready to run. This came from that raw product photo which we saw earlier, and you can see the ad images in the output folder, 3 variations per product, descriptions written, campaign boards assembled, and a master spreadsheet updated automatically with this status and file paths. That's the launch asset library built while you were watching. Here is a problem I didn't expect to solve with AI. I had 2 years of customer emails, sales call notes, and support tickets sitting in the folders on my computer. That's got the information about why people buy, why they don't buy, what questions they ask, what objections come up every single time. I never had time to go through it, so it just sat there. It's just me. And 2 years of data I couldn't use. So I tried something. I created a new project folder just called business strategy and put everything in. 4 files, a context document explaining what the business is and what I'm trying to figure out. The context document is short but so specific. It lays out what the business is, who the customer segments are, 4 product lines, and the actual questions I want Claude to answer. Here is the customer email data. Just got the dates, senders, subject lines, full body of each email categorized by product line, real conversations, ingredient requests, shipping questions, and it's got the sales call notes, CSV, where it has every call log with duration, what stage the customer was set and what objections came up, what triggered the purchase decision and the outcome. You can see entries like found us via price too high or ingredient transparency as buying triggers. We have got the support tickets folder as well, where we have the emails, Instagram DMs, phone calls, live chat, everything from ingredient requests to breakout after first use complaints to shipping delays. That is where friction lives. So I open Cowork, point it at the business strategy folder, and give it one prompt with 3 parallel tasks. Task 1, customer intelligence extraction. So I asked it to go through all of the data and produce a 5-sheet spreadsheet. The task U is to take that extracted data and build an interactive HTML dashboard. Task 3 is to synthesize everything into a practical messaging guide, and that's it. So now you can see that 3 tasks are running in parallel. Okay, so it's finished and we have got the 3 deliverables. So one is the spreadsheet and the dashboard, which you can open in Chrome, and the messaging guide you can open in Word. So here is the spreadsheet. So it has got the every objection categorized by price, efficiency, social stigma, complexity, and so on, with real representative codes from actual customers. And here we have the dashboard. Just got the 100 plus real customer touch point analyzed, 15 distinct objection types identified, 12 buying triggers mapped into journey stage. We have the objections mapped by stage. The objection and segment matrix section tells you who raises the objection. And we have got the buying triggers ranked by frequency and conversion impact, ingredient transparency, which is the number 1 trigger, map table showing each trigger with frequency, journey stage, conversion impact, and so on. Each trigger is mapped to journey stage and the channel where it has the most impact. So these are basically the patterns from real conversations. Here's where it gets more specific. Each trigger has a deep dive card with actual customers' language. So we have got some emotional responses as well from the customers. This is actually the example where AI is turning 2 years of your own business intelligence into something that you can actually use, and you don't need to hire anyone to do that. Every small business I know has this version of a problem. There's a thing you have to check regularly, which is your website and on your competitor's page, your Google business listing, your own ad performance. And every time you check it, it's the same process. Open it, go through your mental checklist, write up what you find, figure what to fix. It's so tedious. And because it's tedious, it doesn't happen or as often as they should. I built a Cowork skill that handles this for my website. Here's what it does. First, the setup. You need the Claude browser extension installed. That's what gives Cowork the ability to actually open and browse websites. Then in my project folder, I have got 2 files. The competitor tracker sheet is pretty straightforward. Every brand I want to audit, and we have got my own client's site here. In this case, it's fictional. And also the 7 other competitors. Each one has a URL, a category, and their marketing position, and so on. And this is the skill file. It tells Cowork exactly what to do. Browse any skincare or e-commerce website using the Chrome connector. Evaluate each page the way a real visitor would. Score every criteria on a standardized checklist and produce a prioritized fix list. I can run it on a single URL or batch audit every URL in the competitor tracker. So I open Cowork, point it to the site audit folder, and the prompt is in 1 sentence. Run the website audit skill on every URL in the competitor tracker, audit each site subsequently, generate individual reports, then produce a comparison summary. And now here's the part that makes this different. Just asking an AI to review a website, it actually is browsing. You can see the progress set up in Chrome browser. First of all, auditing the client's site, and now proceeding to the competitor's site. Claude actually opens these URLs, sees through this page, and it's scrolling through the footer and checking the trust signals, sustainability messaging, and contact information, evaluating it the way a real visitor would. And now it's in the product pages, looking at how products are displayed, pricing visibility, filtering options, product descriptions, all scored against the same checklist used on my site. Okay, so it's done. So it has got the individual audit reports for each site, and it has got the comparison summary. So when the client launches with prominent reviews, ingredient concentrations, a skill type quiz, all those three things alone would represent features that the competitor hasn't solved. So in here you can see that the competitor actually scored 2 out of 5 on the social proof because it has got 0 customer reviews on any product page. That's deliberate on their part. But it means that when this brand launches with prominent reviews, those three features alone represent something a $2 million company hasn't solved. The document has a cover page with grade summary table. Both sites scored graded side by side. Every single criteria scored. It's got the headline clarity, visual impact, CTA visibility, social proof, brand story, trust signal, and so on. It has got the category scores broken out and the prioritized fixed list as well. Now, this is an important part because the framework is packed into the skill. Every report looks the same criteria, same formats, same scoring, which means I can run this report again next month after making the changes, actually compare the results over time instead of having a different doc every time I do it. And the competitor tracker has been updated with today's scores and the dates, ready for the remaining 6 brands whenever I want to run for them. The bigger idea here is any process you go through manually and repeatedly is a candidate for becoming a skill. You are automating the grunt work that surrounds it. Basically, this one is less of a demo and more of a mindset shift. Every small business owner has workflows that exist only in their head. The more you put together a weekly marketing report, the way you check in on competitors, the way you research a new market pitching into it, nobody writes it down. It's just how you do it. The problem is that means you have to do it every time because only you know the process. Here's what I'm doing. Whenever I find myself doing the same thing twice in Cowork, I turn that into a reusable skill, and you can see what that looks like. I just ask Claude to list its skills in here. So these are the Claude skills that has built in. It's got the Word documents, PDF, PowerPoint sheets, front-end designs, product knowledge, and so on. And this is the most important one, which is a skill creator. That's the last one, how you can build your own. The built-in skills handle the file formats and design, but the custom skills you create, those encode your processes. For example, the website audit skill I showed you a minute ago, that's started as me doing manual competitor checks. I wrote out the steps in a plain language, not code, just the description of what to do and in what order, and ask Claude to turn it into a reusable skill. This used to take me an hour every week. Now I run it on command. It does searches, captures the results, generates a report and spreadsheet automatically. I did the same with the competitor research process I used to do manually before every proposal. These are skills that I can run anytime now or hand off to someone else on the team because the process is documented and automated. It's not just locked in my head. If you only take one thing from this video, it's this. After Cowork does something for you that you liked, ask it to save that as a skill. In the long run, you will be building a library of your own business processes that can run themselves. Last one. And this one is more about how you think all about this. In Cowork and Claude Code, you can package everything we have talked about, your skills, your customer workflows, your connected tools, into something called plugin. And here's what that looks like. I asked Claude Code to build one for me. The architecture is clean, a master skill definition file, a commands folder with 4 standalone workflows, a template folder for output formats, and a prompts folder for the analysis engine. Every use case we have walked through today, which are strategy decks, from call transcripts, call campaign launches, customer intelligence, competitor audits, each one becomes a command. The skill definition ties it all together. It describes what the plugin does, when it should trigger, then the complete output showing full file tree with check marks. So that's it, and Claude Code builds it. Every file, every template, every prompt. So you can see the check marks, master skill definition done, all 4/ commands done, and template specs for the PowerPoint, Word docs, spreadsheets done. Also the structured prompts for the analysis. So the commands installs itself, commands copied to the Claude commands directory, 4/ commands ready to use in any Claude Code section. So all you need to do is just to type a / and they appear in autocomplete menu. For a solo operator, that means your whole system is portable. The folder right there, you can reinstall it on a new machine. You can share it with your team or a contractor, and they're running your exact process. For a small team, it means everyone is working from the same playbook, same skill for the audit, same workflow for the proposal, same process for the weekly report. You stop managing how people do things and start trusting that the system handles it. I'm not hunting for prompts in Notion, so I'm not remembering how I set up something 3 months ago. I open Clawwork, type the / command, and run the thing that I need. That's the shift. And for small businesses, that's the difference between keeping up and getting ahead. Here's the honest version of what I would like to say before I go. Running a small business is hard, not because the work is impossible, but because there's always too much of it for one person to handle. So AI doesn't fix that problem by making you faster. But what it actually does is that it fixes by taking the entire categories of work off from your plate so you can put it into an actual strategy where it matters. The proposals still have to exist, the audits still have to happen, the launch still needs to be made. Co-work doesn't make those things less important, but it means you are not the one spending hours doing them. So start with one, whatever's eating the most time now that feels it shouldn't be your job. Build a skill, let it run, then build the next one. That's how you build a system. Not all at once, one workflow at a time. If this was useful, like the video and subscribe if it genuinely helps. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.